Hello, entrepreneurs, future millionaires, everybody that's watching, business owners, YouTubers. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Ali Obaid, and I promote an online education platform that allows you to start your online business. And today's topic is going to be part two of one of the internet marketing geniuses out there. This man was able to make literally 1 hour, was able to make $1 million an hour. He made close to $24 million in 24 hours. And he did it early on, back in 1999, where the internet business wasn't even that big at the time. And believe it or not, he was the federal government, the feds, came after him because for him to make that kind of money in such a short period of time was unheard of back then. It's very common nowadays. We're almost 2020, and for people to make that kind of money is very common now. But back then it was uncommon. The gentleman that I'm talking to, talking about is Frank Kern, and he is an absolutely incredible genius. And this is going to be part two. I did half-hour first part yesterday, and I'm going to do another half hour today. Second part, one thing I mentioned on video number one, Grant Cardone, the real estate genius, the real estate successful social media personality, or whatever, I don't know what it's called exactly, just joined forces with Frank Kern, which is that's a huge plus for Grant, to have somebody like Frank on his team, because he's definitely a gem, and his knowledge is absolutely incredible. So I want you guys to pay attention what he have to say, and for those of you guys that are stuck in your business, this will actually give you a lot of ideas. Just listen closely what he have to say, and he drops a lot of gold nuggets, and it'll inspire you and help you catapult your business. So without further ado, let's listen to what Frank have to say.
Presentation, beginning with a nice refreshing appetizer of weird heavy-duty psychological stuff. That it's possible that when you see me talk about this, you'll be like, damn, this is heavy. You know, it is heavy, all right? Not unpleasantly, depressingly heavy, but like raw kind of heavy stuff, okay? And then, after our super heavy stuff, we will get into something which is dangerously close to new age self-help stuff. So please know that I'm not a motivational speaker or anything. That's not my role here. And for the love of God, people, I've created a product called the Underachiever Method, for Christ's sake. So that's not what that's about, but we get into that for a minute, and then finally at the end is our dessert. We have a nice, warm batch of how to turn all this stuff into money. Cool? All right, awesome. Hooray! Let me ask you a question. Have you ever been in the flow? Like where everything just seems to work out right, where everything's just cool, you talk to people, you're connecting with them, there's like, you have this effortless communication, everything you do throughout the day is pretty easy, and at the end of the day you're like, damn, that was awesome, I wish I could be like that all the time. If you've ever had that experience, please raise your hand. Cool, all right. On the flip side of that, have you ever, I guess I'll use this, have you ever like seen a sales presentation, maybe at a seminar or something, or a business opportunity presentation, where the person said all the right things, and did everything perfectly, you know, dressed like you're supposed to dress, said like you're supposed to talk and stuff, smiled and all that stuff, but still, for some reason, you were just kind of like, yep, raise your hand. Yes? Okay. Just want to make sure I'm not the only one. And now we will begin. Wow. Did that work? Okay. So, this whole core influence thing, literally, I believe, will give you the ability to get people to do just about anything you want them to do, and there are 2 easy steps. Step 1 is to know what you really want and who you really are. I will submit to you now and repeatedly that the answer to those questions that we hold in our heads right now are false. Step 2 is to know what your market really wants and who they really are. All right, so that's it. Thank you. Yes. Good movie that was. So we'll begin the heavy-duty, weird psychological stuff. I believe that most people carry around with them 2 versions of themselves. All right? The first version is the identity that they walk around in every day. I call it the shell identity. So, for example, the dude who's a banker who's walking around saying, "I'm Bob, I'm a banker. I originate loans and stuff. I do banking things. Whatever they may be, I do them seriously." All right? It's a shell identity. It's who you think you are. So, if anyone ever says, "Who the hell do you think you are?" you can say, "I'm the shell identity." The second identity is the person that they really want to be, and that is the identity that people really want. So when Bob's at the bank having the conversation with the teller, "Mrs. Jenkins, did you organize the deposit slips and do other banking stuff?" "Yes, Bob, I certainly did. It was fabulous." And during that whole thing, he's daydreaming about living at the beach or being a rock star or a drug cartel or whatever it may be. That's the identity that he really wants, right? And I believe that that inner identity is our true identity. And I believe this is true for everybody. That person that we daydream about, that life we daydream about, we really want to be that person. That's our deepest core desire. Therefore, I call this the core identity, and I believe this to be everyone's true identity. So I guess to really illustrate it, talking about Bob at the bank doing bank stuff, do you think that Bob at the bank, when he was a little kid, envisioned himself being a banker, going to the bank every day? Do you think he thought that would be awesome, or he wanted to fly planes or something? Which one? Yeah, fly planes. Okay, so Bob really wants to be, and therefore I think, at the risk of sounding all hokey and everything, I thought I would sound hokey, I think that's the real Bob. I think the rock star or the baseball player, that's who Bob really is. He's just trapped in this banker thing because of social conditioning, largely as a result of guys like me who make ads. Sorry, Bob. So I believe everyone's core identity is held captive by circumstance and a lack of knowledge. I'll explain circumstance easier because that's the easiest one, or I'll explain circumstance first because that's the easiest one to explain. Bob wants to be a multi-millionaire playboy living in Monte Carlo. Circumstances might prevent that, such as Bob ain't got no money. Easy one, right? Lack of knowledge is the most insidious reason, and that is because I believe that we don't really know who our core identity is. Very few people ever sit around and think about that. Sit around and think about, well, I wish I had a car or a new house or whatever, but that's not really stuff. It's not who we want to be, all right? Stay with me here. Don't make me ask you to jump up and shout and everything. So, core influence. It's the reason why I'm really good at this stuff, at selling lots of things to people I've never met. It's a core influence. Most influence is done on the surface. Call it surface influence or head-to-head influence. Very common stuff. I'm talking to you, you're hearing my words, you translate those into pictures in your mind or whatever. Your brain uses a little bit of logic, your emotions kick in. You say yay or nay, I agree, I disagree, I will do this, I won't do this, whatever. Normal stuff, right? That's how 99.999% of all influence is performed on the surface level, surface influence. Head-to-head, surface level connection. Works pretty good. Here's how core influence works. Infinitely more powerful, therefore often making surface influence completely unnecessary. Just quickly, a show of hands, how would you like to never really have to convince anything of anything again ever in your life? Okay, cool. That's what core influence does. Just want to make sure we're keeping the big picture in the frame of our minds here. I think we communicate on two levels, head-to-head level, and we communicate on the core level. We're going to get a little heavy here, I'm going to rope it in, but just bear with me on this heavy stuff. The lasting influence comes from a core connection. When I asked you earlier, if you've ever had that experience where everything's going really well, and whenever you're interacting with people, you just seem like everyone I'm talking to, you've got this great bond with them, and it's all really easy. Like when you go to a party and you meet a perfect stranger and you immediately connect with them. You ever had that experience? That's the core communication. That's what's going on there. And it's just an unconscious thing that happens. You're congruent with your true identity, who you really want to be, and they are too. And when you connect, you're talking to each other, it's just right there. There's that instant connection. Like in those moments, if you guys want to go do something or whatever, it wouldn't take a lot of convincing, right? Because you're on the same plane. You're pretty much like on the same little wavelength. Core connection. All right. Pretty dangerous stuff here. When we get into the subconscious, I don't think I could even define what subconscious is, but I'll just pretend I know what the hell I'm talking about here with subconscious. I think it's your subconscious speaking to their subconscious. And I'm not talking about subliminal weirdness or any tricks. I think that your true person and your true intents are showing and is speaking to what they ultimately want, and those two are aligned. Does that make sense? Okay. Do you believe that our subconscious minds are really in control? There's no right or wrong answer. I'm just interested in what your feedback is. Show of hands if you believe this. Yes. Most people. Cool. I believe it too. I don't know it. How can we prove it? Actually, wait a minute. I can't. I'm about to. Sorry. Photographic evidence even. Take that. So, sounding weird, let me try to de-weirdify it.
Let's go here.
don't know why I use that title, that's kind of corny. I say you can't really control your subconscious, I think you can guide it anyway. And I think with the proper guidance that your subconscious will create a new core identity for you, and this is the identity that will speak to your market on a core level. Let me rephrase it so it doesn't sound all weird. There's stuff you can do. First of all, I believe that none of us, until we do this exercise I'm going to give you, which I did not create incidentally, really have any idea who the core identity is. We don't really know who that person is that we truly want to be. And this, I'm saying this to you at the risk of sounding like an asshole by saying that none of you guys are happy with your lives and you all wish you were someone else. So that's not at all what I'm trying to convey to you. Forgot what the other part of what I was going to say was. Yes, now I've remembered. It is when we, as people, become congruent, when we identify that core identity and we become congruent with what it is and who it is that we truly want to be, that is when effortless influence occurs. Well, almost occurs. Do you remember when I asked you if you've ever seen the presentation where the dude said all the stuff, all the right things, did all the right things, dressed the right way, used the right body language, and you were still kind of What you experienced was your subconscious picking up on the lack of congruence in core identity. So to use that example, this dude is giving you this presentation like, I'm interested in you, you need to buy my stuff, we're all going to make a lot of money, or whatever it may be. His core identity could be saying, I hate people, I cannot wait to get off of the stage, just give me the damn money so I can go home and do more blow. Right? And your subconscious is picking up on that despite the fact that he's done and said everything correctly. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Both of you agree that it makes sense. Awesome. Okay. Now, here's where it gets good. When you can pinpoint what the true core identity of your market is, and you communicate with them congruently from your true centered state, that true core identity, you will have more power and influence than you ever thought possible. Ever. Case in point being, let's see, they call it religion. All right? Religious leaders, some are not, this is not true for all, but some, such as like a Mother Teresa, was 100% congruent. She knew what that core identity was. She stepped into that core identity and she spoke to the core identity of all the people she influenced in the world. Regardless of what they did by occupation, what their religious beliefs were, she spoke to that core identity within them that said, I'm a good person who cares. He wants to give back to my fellow man, who wants to help and make a difference. Did it look to you like Mother Teresa was working real hard to convince anybody of anything? Yes or no? Core influence. So basically you're all going to turn into Mother Teresa. Right after I do, right? Sure. So, but you are going to learn how to do this. You're going to learn some exercises that are very easy and fun and beneficial to you that will cause this to happen. I've been doing this since 1999, marketing things on the internet, and I spent, 9 years? I spent the first 7 years of it convincing people to do stuff. I spent the last 18 months or so sort of convincing people to do stuff. I figured this stuff out by accident, really, and now I don't have to convince anyone to do anything. It just works. So as marketers, a lot of us with our greatest challenges is getting people to buy our stuff. The bottom line is when you do this, more people will buy your stuff and you'll generate much cooler customers and your life will be a lot better. So remember, step one was find out who you really are and what you really want. I'm going to walk you through how to do that. Does that end the weird psychological part of the thing? Maybe. Not sure if we're still in the weird psychological part or if we're into the dangerously close to self-help new age stuff. As I said earlier, we're using the Bob at the bank thing. I believe that our deepest core desires give clues to our core identity. It's a weird statement to make because right now we're probably thinking of desires on a material level. That's not what I mean. I told you guys this was heavy stuff, right? You're like, damn, I thought he was going to get up here and tell jokes. Wish I'd have stayed at lunch. So, why are you here right now in this moment with me together with members of your community in this room? No? Cool. It's a very nice thing to say, to help tens of millions of people, millions of people, and learn how to do that. Awesome. Good call. Some,
Sell more.
Sell more? Beauty. All right. Make more money. That's probably like the front of mind thing. Make more money, right? It is, after all, a conference about, I don't know, business. It's typically the function of business to make more money. Cool, good answer. I like it too. Making more money is fun. Spending it's even funner. Paying taxes on it, not so fun. Another reason might be to network with your peers, right? It's fun, go to the bar. These things remind me sometimes of Grateful Dead concerts, but without the drugs. Because you see everybody, you see all these people you would usually only see in that environment. It's almost like this traveling fun thing. So you get to reconnect with your friends and tell war stories and all that. It's great. So network with your peers might be one. Get out of the house might be one. You laugh. I've got 2 young children. They're 2 and 5 now. And when they were like a lot younger and neither of them spoke English stopped screaming for more than 30 seconds at a time, I would come to one of these things. And they're good. You want me to come to the seminar and have people repeatedly throw bricks at me? Awesome. I'll be there. Can I sleep past 8? Great. Throw whatever you want. All right? Or maybe it's to contribute to the community. Kind of like what you said. Sweet. So a typical thing to do, and we do this a lot in sales, and we're trying to get inside the minds of our prospects. Say, well, why do you want that stuff, right? Why do you want that outcome? So an answer might be, why do I want more money? Why do you want to network with others? Why do you want to contribute to your community? So forth. So you might say, I want more money so I can get a Ferrari, or whatever, right? Or so I can quit my job. I want to network with others so I can form joint venture partnerships, so I can distribute more of my products, or whatever. And those are all acceptable answers, but our brains will lie to us. They are surface level answers, which are not to be discarded, but they are not the absolute truth. What? When I say something like, I want to make more money so I can buy a new car or a new Ferrari or a new house or all this stuff, typically that's our brain giving us the surface level thing because it doesn't want to work that hard, and that's okay, right? Remember when I was saying that Bob daydreams of being the rock star or whatever? That's essentially like he's replaying these beer commercials in his mind, right? I wish I was that dude. It's normal. We all do it, right? It's cool. The truth is, we all want to create and perpetuate experience. Goals and things are absolutely meaningless in the context of this whole core identity weirdness I'm talking about today. We all want to create and perpetuate experience. I'll give you good concrete examples of that. Anyone ever know of a guy that might want a Ferrari? Anyone ever know a man that, damn, I wish I had a Ferrari, that's awesome. Yeah? Is anyone here? You guys, can I have some of what you're taking, please? We can go the same way. Yes? Or no? Okay. Is that yes, I can have some of what you're taking? Because if you all give it to me, I think it might kill me. All right. Well, when a guy wants a Ferrari, I know because I've gone through the whole Ferrari thing, what we really want is to be like James Bond or something, right? Or whatever internally having that Ferrari means to us. I want to be like James Bond or a rock star or whatever, right? Normal stuff. That's why you want the Ferrari, for the significance, okay? And of course the big lie is that we tell ourselves and trick ourselves into believing every single day, millions of consumers believe it too, we're not alone. The big lie is that if you have the Ferrari, then you'll be like James Bond or whatever, right? I can hereby attest to you in front of this council of my peers that not a single flashy sports car that I ever had, and I've had a Ferrari, 2 Porsches, BMWs, I've had them all with the exception of Bugatti, Lamborghini, and Bentley. None of them ever made me any cooler of a person. It totally sucked. I was like, okay, when am I going to become cool? This blows, you know? When am I going to become better endowed? Surely. When I would trade the cars in, the joke that I would tell the salesperson, they'd be like, why are you trading this Porsche in? It's awesome. I'd say, well, the penis extension mechanism is clearly broken. This didn't work at all. What else do you got? Well, maybe you should try the Ferrari. Okay. Nothing. Right? What we really want with all these goals and things and bullshit that our brains tell us is experience. You want that feeling and experience of feeling like James Bond. You want the experience with the Ferrari thing. Not you, we, whatever. I'm not preaching at you. We want the experience of having the heads turn or whatever and feeling like that rock star. Right? Yes? Cool. Okay. So, I'm going to show you an exercise in a second that changed my life. That's a really weird thing for me to say, because normally when I hear about life-changing and stuff, I'm like, oh, God. You know, but it did, and I didn't even know what was going to happen when I did it. I just did it for the hell of it. When you do this, you will immediately, well, okay, it's not immediately. It takes a couple hours to do the exercise. So after a couple of hours, you will get clear focus of what your true core identity is. The freeing feeling from that is absolutely overwhelming because it strips out the bullshit. It turns off the beer commercial and helps you get down to what's real. when you communicate from this core place, you're centered, stable, and focused. Cool. You also attract matches, and you're able to influence people effortlessly, specifically when you attract a match. Now, what a match is someone whose core identity is similar to yours. Let me ask you a question. Do you think I'm insane? Yes. All right, great. Show of hands if your idea of a good, fun life is to build a business where you have customers who are dramatically different than you and you don't really like them. Okay, cool. Would it be fun to build a business and have customers who are a lot like you and you do genuinely like them and they do genuinely like you? Pretty fun. That's what I mean by you magnetically attract matches. Because when you're totally congruent and you've stepped into that core, and as you'll see, you actually will begin, or at least it happened to me, you'll begin to live that life that you map out. It's bizarre. You will magnetically attract matches because they will see internally, subconsciously, heavy shit, I know, but they will subconsciously be drawn to you because you are within the place that they want to be. Does that make sense? Yeah. Cool. All right. This is all new stuff for me, so I was really stressed out about teaching this. I was like, this is either going to go over or people are going to think I'm the weirdest person in the world. I don't really know if there's much I can do about the second part of that, but hopefully it goes over and you guys get it and dig it. And plus, like me, you just might actually stumble into a new and better reality and experience the following. Does this sound hokey to anybody, by the way? It's okay if it does. I'm not going to be pissed off. Yeah, I mean, just please, someone say it sounds hokey to them so I won't look stupid here. One dude, okay, thank you. Thank you for having it. Thank you for being honest with me and telling me that it sounds hokey. I used to think this type of stuff I'm talking to you about right now was the single biggest load of bullshit, only to be surpassed by something I could make up myself. All right? And probably the reason why is because I've been around lots of psychotherapeutic stuff. My mother's a psychotherapist, so I think she used me as a guinea pig. So I had this, I know she's like, well, let's see what happens if we put him in the room with this subliminal message, you know, like, thanks. Thus explaining that incident with the cantaloupe. What? I just put salt on it. What the hell is wrong with it? Man, Rich said it was going to be like a nice professional place, and here you guys are. So it's cool if this sounds hokey, all right? Let me tell you where I was before I did this. I had the Porsche. Ooh, I had me one of them Ferraris. Yay. I want you to keep in mind how significant that is to a guy my age, right? Especially my age back then, like a young dude, you know, that's like, oh, Jesus, for some reason we're compelled to believe that's like going to make you the happiest person in the world. Again, probably because of people like us are convincing them that they're going to make, yeah, but still. Got to fly around on private jets, no shit. My daughter is 2, her very first time in an airplane was on a private jet. Flew her and my family to Deer Valley. Took them skiing, took my mom, moved to San Diego, private jet. It was awesome, right? Pretty cool. Had time freedom. I lived in Macon, Georgia. I could do anything I wanted to do. Unfortunately, there was nothing to do in Macon, Georgia. But had there been anything to do, I could have done it. If I could have done anything other than like go to lunch and go to Barnes & Noble and then go like to post-lunch and then go to Barnes & Noble again, I could have done that, hypothetically speaking. All right? I kid you not. We had like this near family crisis trying to determine which big fancy mansion to buy. Not because we needed a bigger house, but simply because we could, and therefore we thought, well, we should, because we can, because that's what you do. You're supposed to show how significant you are by having a great big house and stuff like that. Was the big deal, okay? Does that sound like a bad life or a good life? Really? I mean, those are your big problems. Not so bad, all right? It's absolutely fucking miserable. Horrible. I mean, totally miserable. Get up in the morning, what now? I go to my office, which overlooked the Loaves and Fishes homeless dude bread line stuff. Why did I pick that? You know? It was just absolutely miserable. One of the worst sensations I believe there is, well, maybe not the worst, I guess we could come up with lots of worse stuff, but a significantly bad sensation is to strive for your whole life for some goal.